All right, you're watching this video so that you can properly develop your project management log, which is a series of tasks that you have to complete in order to be successful in this project. So I'm on our class Teams right now under assignments where our project management log is posted. You can preview the assignment by clicking on the document, but you're definitely going to want to download your own copy by clicking here and then clicking download a copy, and then it's going to pop up on the bottom there, and if you click that it should open the document in Pages for you so that you can type directly into the document. Make sure you're saving it so you can upload it to Teams and turn it in for my review. Okay, so for us to be able to complete our task log, we have to know what each of these tasks are listed under the task column. That way you can evenly divide who is responsible, when you think is an appropriate due date, and then of course these occur after you complete the assignment. So the first thing listed is the group contract. You should have already developed this, and of course whoever was responsible should have been both group members. It is due at the same time as our task log here. So once you have that completed, write down the date you completed, the date you turned it in, and then put a little X in the checkoff box there to indicate that you finished it. The second task on our list is something called a project preview. This is super easy, it takes hardly any time, but it does take some thought. The project preview looks like this. There's just two text boxes. You just put your names, and I want you to put your topic of your injustice. What injustice are you going to research throughout this project? So this means you have to be committed. Of course, you can change fairly early in the project, but if you're halfway through the project and you're changing your topic, you're going to be way behind. So this is probably one of the very first things that you have to do to be successful on this project. Now, this is not required to be turned in until September 20th because I'm giving you quite a bit of time to research in the library and brainstorm some topics. So I highly recommend you do turn that in prior to September 20th at the end of class. And I want to make a note that any deadlines are indicated that they are turned in at the end of class that day. So at the end of our hour, that 50-minute period, I believe that the 20th is maybe a Tuesday, you would submit that assignment before you leave class that day on Teams. So project preview, all I need to know is what topic you're covering. Our next assignment under tasks is a source tracker. The source tracker looks like this. This is where once you find things that you know, find articles, books, notes, things that you're going to use in your research, you're going to track them here. So you're going to keep your article title, the website title, and the author. So here's my example. The article title that I found was How to Tell Real News from Fake News by TED is the website, and then Laura McClure was the author. The CRAP score, C-R-A-P, we're going to talk about this in class, but this is a way to score whether you think your source is reliable, and depending on what score it gets, that's how you know if the source is true news, fake news, or maybe something less reliable. So you'll put your score here. Now we'll talk about in the future how nothing that you're going to keep on your source tracker should score less than a certain number out of 20. But we'll go into more detail then. But essentially this is a way to keep track of your sources and where you found them. Now I recommend that both partners keep track of their sources. Both partners should be researching, so both partners should be doing this. Now, the project preview, I should have mentioned that that's something that's so quick and easy, but the topic is something that has to be agreed upon by both group members. After the source tracker is the report outline. We're going to come back to that as well as the report final draft at the very end of this video because this only applies to pre-AP English 1 students. If you are in an on-level English 1, you do not have to write the report. So let's go ahead and skip on over to the infographic draft. We are going to spend time in class discussing what an appropriate infographic looks like, what a well-made infographic looks like. We're going to go over some steps on how to do that. And we are also going to talk about the website you can use to make your infographic. This is a very hefty responsibility. That is also hefty along with the infographic analysis paragraph. I don't recommend that one partner do both of these tasks. However, it's not like you can do both of them on your own. You would have to work together and communicate what your infographic looks like for the other partner to be able to write the paragraph about the infographic. So let's take a look about the infographic analysis paragraph. This is the outline. Essentially what you're doing with this paragraph is you're simply explaining why you designed your infographic the way you did. we are going to talk about colors as symbols, and that's going to be part of your evidence. Why did you use certain colors? Why did you place certain data or certain pictures in certain parts of your infographic? So this is what that paragraph explains. I've also provided you a template that you can simply use to type up your final draft. Again, make sure that you're not having one person do both the paragraph and the infographic. I would probably split that between two partners. Backtracking just a little bit, I forgot to mention the source tracker deadline is the same as the project preview. The very latest the source tracker should be submitted is at the end of class on September 20th. The infographic draft, as well as the infographic paragraph draft, must be submitted by October 10th at the end of class. Again, make sure you're considering that you might want to get these done prior to that absolute deadline, because that is the very latest they should be turned in. The next step in our task log is the Works Cited draft. This is an example of what a Works Cited page looks like. You're simply taking your source tracker and you're citing in MLA format, we'll talk about what that looks like in the future, into a Works Cited formal page. So this is what formal people do in their research to present where they found their evidence and their sources. This should be turned in on the same day as our infographic draft and paragraph draft. That first Works Cited draft should be turned in by the end of class on October 10th. Again, the sooner you turn these things in, the better feedback you can get from me so that you can have a better final draft. Again, final report applies to pre-AP students only, so we'll get to that in just a minute. The final infographic and the final infographic analysis paragraph, as well as the final Works Cited, okay, so this is the meat of our project, has to be turned in no later than October 31st. Okay, and then we're actually presenting our assignment on November 3rd, that Friday. So make sure that the latest you have those things in is then. That way you have plenty of room and plenty of time to make small last-minute changes, to practice presenting, and be ready to go for your final project. Okay, if you are an English 1 student, you can finish watching here and get started divvying up those tasks. Make sure you're including those due dates, who's responsible, divide responsibilities up evenly. But pre-AP students, let's talk about your report outline as well as your final report. This is what the research report outline looks like. It looks just like a regular old essay. We've written one of these before with Secret Life of Bees. So you're going to use this outline either online, you can type it, or you can handwrite it. If you'd rather have a hard copy, just let me know. And so this is where you include all of the information that is included in your infographic, but you're going to do so in a full essay report. That way you have that with you to give your audience as kind of a departure. Something to keep in mind is you're not going to simply read your report out in your presentation. The infographic should be the main focus of your presentation, but you want to have the additional information included in your report. And then this is what that template looks like. It's an MLA format. We'll talk about that there. But this is something you can use when you're ready to type your final report. Okay, this is probably the most significant responsibility in the project. I do not recommend having one partner write the final report or the report outline. This needs to be divvied up. I would say maybe split up paragraph by paragraph, and then take time to edit each other's paragraphs, give each other feedback, use radar revision, replace, add, delete, and reorder when you're doing your feedback for each other. So that way you're both on the same page and you're creating really high quality writing. All right, that's it for our task log overview. Thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.